None of us think children are going to have a life-limiting illness.
Hospice is helping people who are dying live.
People don't tend to know about is that there is a need for palliative and hospice services for pediatric patients.
It's not about just waiting until the time comes. It's about getting as much out of life as you possibly can until that time comes.
It is our job to help families on their journey and make sure that every person and family can live with no regrets and say goodbye with as much peace and dignity as possible.
We have patients from birth and newborns all the way up until the late teens.
Everybody that is in hospice deserves a dignified death, and they deserve to have resources with them, and they don't have to do it alone.
There's also a very different level of bereavement and grief that goes along with caring for a child who has a chronic medical illness, both before and after death.
We want patients and their families to live every day, celebrate every day, as many as they have.
Just the resources alone, we see a lot of our patients have an increased quality of life.
I think the really important thing is that you meet a family and a child wherever they are at in their path. So it's not pushing them someplace or pulling them someplace. It's really walking along beside them and helping them live their life.
This is a tough decision for a family to make. This is their child. And no parent wants to even think about their child dying. And to take that step that is often seen as a final step, even though it's not necessarily, is a big step for them. The biggest thing is to help them understand what we bring to the table.
They lead the conversation. I'm not there to guide them in any certain direction. But if that is the day where they're just dealing with pain in their child, then we talk about the pain.
Our group of physicians, nurses, social work, grief support, and chaplains bring, it's that understanding of this is really difficult to even talk about, that a child may die. Let us help you. We'll walk with you through that journey.
I think one of the most satisfying pieces of this job for me is when I'm able to help a child become more comfortable. And to hear a parent tell me that their child is in such a better place and that they are much more comfortable now just means the world to me.
It's important. They're going to a lot of specialists. Their mom or dad and their siblings are all impacted by their illness. And so even knowing that there's a program, there's some place that you can go to that'll help you keep your child at home and bring services to you, so it's one less visit to the hospital or to a clinic for your child. It's important.
I think it's really important to support pediatric hospice because this is a group of children who need specialized care, and it's very difficult to come by that care.
Through the Pikes Peak Hospice Foundation, we're able to fund our pediatric pathways program. So people, even without insurance, are able to access all of the services that we have for our littlest of patients. So it's not a barrier if you're not insured or if you have insurance that doesn't cover this type of care. That's what our foundation and the community donors help us fund.
We had another patient who had had an event and appeared to be near the end of his life. And the family didn't want his last moments to be in a house that was cold and not filled with joy and sunlight. The parents took the child outside and sat in the sun for a few hours, simply to feel the sense of wonder and warmth. And when that patient died a few hours later, he looked more alive in those moments than he had in the preceding days.
It's really important that our community embrace this. It's again something that we don't want to think about, but their opportunity to really help a family through that journey, to be able to celebrate the legacy of their child, it's significant becoming a donor to this program.